The Sulu and Celebes Seas, which run between Sabah and the Philippines, is one of the most dangerous places in the world to sail.
Yes, and that's mainly due, of course, to the piracy activity. You may have read that Abu Sayyaf are still wreaking havoc in that area. But we have found a way in which we can sail safely through that region.
Back before the world changed, we were asked to be the media boat in the Passage to the East Sail Malaysia Rally.
Yep, this annual rally runs from Langkawi and goes through the Malacca Strait, round the tip of Malaysia to Tioman Island, then across the South China Sea via the Anambas Islands to Sarawak and finishes on the east coast of Sabah.
Anyone who knows us knows that we're not really rally people, and anyway, we've already sailed to pretty much all of those places.
Apart from, of course, that last part of the Sabah coastline, and this takes in some pristine natural habitats, including the virgin rainforest along the Kinabatangan River and one of the top 3 diving spots in the world at Sipadan.
When the borders started closing in Malaysia and all over the world, the organisers had to shelve the project, which was a real shame. But little did we know that in the background they were working with the Sabah Tourist Office to see if they could get together enough boats to do just a small part of the rally, and that's the bit we're interested in, round the top of Borneo.
Yes, but let's not forget, of course, these are pretty dangerous waters because of kidnapping and piracy. The only chance we'll get to see this part of the world is to go with the rally. And I guess you're wondering, how do you make a rally safe? That's because it has one hell of a military escort, overseen by ESCOM, the Eastern Sabah Security Command, commanded by Datuk Hazani Ghazali, who we were privileged to meet the other day.
The rally organiser, Saslimi Kamal Basha, made a presentation to ESCOM about the importance of the rally to Sabah's tourism.
And just to add, this year, we have a very special boat this year. Our lead boat, Esper, is one of the very influential influencers in social media, and they want to film this voyage.
There we go, formal introductions over with. Thank you to Sazli for introducing us to all of those people.
Oh gosh, it was a real privilege to be there, wasn't it?
It was, but I've forgotten how many representatives there were of all the different organisations. So I'll let Alvin, our friend Alvin, who we've talked about before, who's a co-host of this rally, I think he breaks down all the people present at that meeting.
Hello everyone, we have just concluded today's meeting with the Eastern Sabah Security Command. All the lead people in the team came. The commander himself came, Dato' Azani, Captain Hamid, which is from the Malaysia Maritime Enforcement Agency. His assistant commander Nak Rong came, and also we have representative from the Royal Malaysian Navy, Royal Malaysian Air Force, Royal Malaysian Police, the Special Branch and the Marine Division. Lastly, we have the Armed Forces Joint Service Forces Division representative also came and attended the brief on the Sail Malaysia Rally Passage to the East security arrangement details briefing. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of names to remember, but you got the full organization of ESCOM here. Yeah, so this is the reassurance of the security commitment that they are going to be providing to the Sail Rally participants.
Dato' Tengku Adlin, Sabah's tourism and eco guru and living icon, told us that he believes this part of Asia should be the Asians' answer to the Caribbean.
Yep, the Caribbean of the East is how he labelled it. And actually, Tengku Adlin, he's such a sweet guy, highly revered apparently among the whole of Sabah, not just the tourism industry. And he came and sat down with us afterwards, met up with the other yachties taking part in the rally, and he and Sasley answered our questions. And as you saw from this huge military presence, we really do feel at ease and comfortable with going ahead and sailing in that area.
After the meeting was over, we managed to slip away and get some sailing in. Hoorah, at last.
Heard that right.
Yeah, it wasn't the most exciting of sails, was it?
It wasn't, but it was great to unfurl those sails after so long of not moving the boat at all.
And they all went up properly? They all came out properly?
They did, and actually because it's quite a slow sail, it gave us an opportunity to talk through some of the systems on board. So you may find this quite interesting in terms of our sort of thinking as to how we handle the sails, the charging of the batteries. So we cover off a few subjects. If you've got any questions about those, pop them in the comments below, and you even address the Millie situation.
I do. We've left it, but finally we thought we'd better just say to camera how we are with losing our Millie.
Good morning. Little update today. We're going to go sailing. Hooray! We're going to do all of 8 miles down to the next little anchorage. To be honest, there isn't any wind at the moment. That doesn't really happen until the afternoon, but it's just an opportunity to shake out those sails and blow away the cobwebs and all that malarkey. So we have been hanging out outside the marina for the last 2-3 nights. It's actually not been bad at all, you know. There's a little bit of traffic, but other than that, it's not a bad anchorage. Last night we went into town to just do a bit more provisioning, and as you can see, the single most important update of note is my new cap, my classic cheese cutter cap. I'm going to be living in this, I think. By the way, a couple of you were asking about my glasses as well, and if we could put an affiliate link in. So we have. These are Oakley's. I'm not a big fan of Oakley's, but these glasses I've been after for years. They're called Sutro. So if you're interested in them, we've got a link down below in the description. So last night was quite good fun actually. We hooked up with Roy and Graham and Roy's wife Lily, and they had a skinful by the time we met up with them later in the evening.
A is for anchor that swings from the bow. B is for bosun who doesn't know how. C is for cook who's a f***ing disgrace. You can tell by the look on that galley boy's face. Heave away, all the way. From the lighthouse to the shite house is a f***ing long way. The chief steward was a bit of a and so we sent him adrift with those doors on a punt, begging and screaming and down on his knees. He says it was a mutiny upon the high seas. All the way from the lighthouse to the shite house, it's a f***ing long way. Wow.
So hopefully by now we've told you all about the rally, and you got a glimpse of the ESCOM meeting that we had. And I don't know what else to say other than it's time to weigh anchor and shake out those sails. Oh, by the way, just in case you needed a reminder, mizzen out first. Always get the mizzen out first. It's normally the first sail we get out and the last sail we've put away. We've said that many times before, but here we are, mizzen out, and we haven't weighed anchor yet. Helps us sort of stay into wind, what little wind there is, so that we can weigh anchor. Very easy to manage. And Liz has got the deck wash. We've got a saltwater deck wash at the front of the boat to clean the chain. So she's giving it a bit of a clean. I've no idea what the water's like here. And hello! Yeah, everything good. And you? I think he's actually based in the marina, that guy. He's fishing. A lot of these boats that to do the day trips, like the one going out now with tourists on, when they don't have tourists, the guys go out and do a spot of fishing. We've seen quite a few of them trolling lines out the back of their boat.
Snubber was pretty grimy.
Was it?
Yeah. Smearing it off. That's it. Going down again in a couple of hours. Right, shall I start?
Yep, weigh anchor. The obligatory shot of Liz's arse. So while Liz does that, I guess I can attempt to get out the mainsail. We haven't got this one out for a while, so it should be interesting to see how easy it is. Very important to keep the track clean. That can get dirty and cruddy, and so the car can get stuck on it. Same also, of course, with the furling mechanisms. Obviously, we're in mast furling, we've got a drum inside there. Always a good idea to keep it clean with fresh water and sometimes a bit of detergent as well. Don't use things like WD-40 or anything like that, because that attracts the dirt into the bearings. So fresh hot water if you can. So as Liz weighed anchor, I just pulled out the mainsail using the outhaul, which is here. Just need to tighten that up, but happy to say that it came out without a hitch. And that means we've got 2 down, 2 to go. Here we go. Anchor's up. Bugger all wind. As you can see, we've got the main and the mizzen out, and we're not moving. Speed over ground, 0, 0. Let's try and get that I don't know, what should we get out next? Staysail? That's what we normally do, get the staysail out. It's not going to make much difference. I think we're actually going to be motor sailing for the first part, going into the wind. Interesting what the wind does around here. You've got sort of prevailing squalls coming in off the land, sort of can be easterly, can be northeasterly, can be southeasterly. Sometimes the wind comes from the north. It's very odd here. The main thing though, to watch out for those massive horrible squalls like what we got a few nights ago. But let's just find our position and see where the wind is. I have a feeling it's going to be on the nose. How does it feel then?
Well, we've been at anchor now for over a week, which is great. Last few days in and out of the marina and in and out of KK, but it's nice to get away again. It is very flat today and there isn't really much wind, so I'm not sure we're going to really get any sailing in. We can give it a go. We're going to head out, is that the idea? Yeah,
just clear all the islands and reefs.
Yeah, I mean, might be a bit more wind out there. A lot of cloud and well, it's going offshore, so it should be a nice day, but always feels good. Every time the anchor goes up, it always feels good.
You mentioned about the anchor though, what's wrong with the anchor?
Yeah, so I've been watching the anchor each time I bring it up and I've been worried slightly that it looks like it's corroding. We're just trying to work out how old it is. It's at least 11, possibly 12 years old. And at the very top of the bar, it's a Rockner anchor, at the very top of the roll bar in the middle, there's quite a lot of corrosion. So I was saying to you we should get a new anchor. You are saying that we could look at having it galvanised.
Yeah. Funny enough, Roy and I were patrolling the marina the other week and we were talking about the Rockner and the fact that that roll bar is hollow and has a hole in the top of the bar. That's where it's corroding from, and we're trying to work out why it's hollow, why it's not solid. Any thoughts on that?
Weight. I mean, presumably the weight is supposed to be in the well, I can't remember the technical term, the Dinghy bit.
Pointy bit.
The pointy bit, not on the roll. Yeah. The roll is there to allow it to roll. Yeah. I suppose if you made it really heavy, it would just unbalance the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll have another look at it when we get back to the marina.
Yeah. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to see if we can get hold of Rockners here.
All systems are go, and batteries are on about 75% state of charge. So with the engine not even doing 1500 RPM, the solar panels we're putting in about 85 amps. charge, which is not bad considering I've put the water maker on and also our crappy freezer. And I don't know if we've talked about this, but during lockdown, when we had Millie, we switched her to a raw meat diet, and because we don't have a freezer and because we don't really have meat, well, we don't have any meat on board, we thought we'd better buy a freezer so we could actually freeze this meat for her. It's a cheap-ass piece of crap, basically. It's always on, the insulation is terrible, but hey, it cost 750 ringgit, which is about 150 quid, so it did all right whilst we were in lockdown. But unfortunately at anchor, we can't really run it because it's so inefficient. It's on more than it's off. But because we've got the engine running, we figured, well, we'll plug that in as well and chuck a few beers in there, of course, because the fridge is packed full of lovely vegetables and fruit and cheese. Recently, in one of the Facebook sail groups, someone asked the question, do you ever tow your dinghy when you're sailing? And I replied a very stern, never, never, ever. I think perhaps we did it in the first year of our sailing, but we very quickly learned to put our dinghy on the boat. And there's a couple of reasons for this. The main one obviously is if the sea state picks up, you can potentially flip that dinghy. Obviously it creates some drag. It's just, for us anyway, it's good practice to haul the dinghy up onto the davits. And I went as far as to say that we actually do this every night. It doesn't matter what kind of state we're in, when we get back to the boat, we will always put the dinghy on the davits. You might notice that at the moment we've got the engine on the dinghy. Now for little day hops, that's not so bad. When the sea state's like this, the dinghy isn't swinging too much at all. And to keep the engine on is just useful because we're obviously putting it in the water frequently. But for longer passages, for a day or more, I would always take the engine off the dinghy and put it next to me here. There we go, there's my thoughts on hoisting dinghies. We always do it.
We haven't spoken much about Millie since she was, I don't know how to say, since she died, I have to say it. We haven't spoken much about Millie since she died, and we put our tribute to her, but we're starting to get used to life without Millie on the boat. It was very difficult when we first left the marina and came out to anchor. We wanted to get away just to have some time on our own to reflect, but every inch of the boat reminds us of her, and normally she'd be up in the cockpit with us right now. She'd be on one of the sides, usually it's on the port side, and we put a little cushion over the top so she had some shade, and she would sit and smile at us and snooze and stretch like cats do. And I think both of us keep looking in these places that we are so used to seeing her and regretting that she's not there. But it's getting easier, grief does get easier, and I'm left now with just lots and lots of really fond memories of an amazing cat, a really proper salty sea cat. She loved being at anchor and she loved these gentle sails along the coast. She just lived for this life. A lot of the time was spent looking over the side, obviously, and I would do a little bit of fishing for her when we got there, and usually in the mornings, and I am finding that a little hard in the mornings that she's not there. But we've got our new routines now just with the two of us. The only upside about losing our beautiful Millie is that we're now a little freer, so we haven't got to worry about going to countries that don't like animals, and I haven't got to stress about getting the food and all that kind of thing, so that's out of the way. So I haven't got to worry about that, but I would take all of those things back to have Millie with us, if I'm really honest. I think being stuck in the marina with all that rain and weather over the last few months and not using them has meant that the winches really need servicing properly. So I think we need to get back to the marina a good week before we want to leave so that I can go around and service all those winches. It's quite a long procedure, but it's good and it needs to be done. As I was pulling out the staysail then, it felt a bit crunchy, which it's never done before, so I reckon they're dirty and they need cleaning.
Here we are, folks. This is it. We are sailing. We're speeding along here at 1.4 knots. That's probably current, but it's just great to have the sails out and the engine off. You can hear it's flapping around a bit. Haven't got the head sail out fully. Sometimes that gets a bit stuck, so I just wanted to furl it out 2/3 of the way out and try and put it away before getting it fully out again. But look, we're a sailing channel. We're sailing. What more do you want? It's been such a long time since we've got the sails out, and since we've had weather like this at sea. When we were coming up here, we didn't get too many good days, so to have a beautiful day like this, you really don't care how slow we're going. It's just nice just to kick back and relax. The only thing that you can possibly hear in the background is the grinding of the water maker. But aside from that, you just hear the little ripples of the water against the boat. There's been a bit of fish activity as well. I should try and convince Liz to get the rod out really, but I'm not sure what we'll catch at 1.2 knots. And there's about 5 knots just aft of the beam. So, yeah, lovely. It's lovely, isn't it? It's really nice. I love it. Yeah, lovely. Bye.